Hello, good and faithful people of the Church of the Mediator. It's Father Dale. I hope that you are well whenever it is that you hear this video this week. My opening question for you is, what are the cardinal virtues and what are the theological virtues? I ask this question because this Sunday, the first Sunday in September, Labor Day weekend, we begin 6 weeks of a season of creation as we did last year. This is a time liturgically to center our worship on giving thanks to God for the gift of the creation, of God's creation, and to reflect on and maybe a little bit to maybe not so little, to repent for our misuse of creation and our responsibility to care for God's creation. That God has called us as Christian people and as human beings to be in right relationship with God's creation in all its variety and richness and beauty and dignity and goodness. So starting our season of creation this week, I'm going to do an interesting little thing, or at least I'm going to try, and we'll see how successful it'll be. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I'm going to do a sermon series on the cardinal virtues and the theological virtues over the next 6 weeks, talking about how it is an ethical responsibility, a virtue for us to care for God's creation. We'll see how this works out, but I wanted to remind you of those virtues that have been handed down. Really, the cardinal virtues come from Greek philosophy, pre-Christian thought, but were taken up by the church and then added onto with the theological virtues. So, I primed the pump for this on this past Sunday by talking about my having attended General Theological Seminary in New York for the first half of my 3 years of seminary. And on the floor of the Chapel of the Good Shepherd, at the center of General Seminary, in marble mosaic, are the virtues. The four cardinal virtues lead up the aisle of the seminary chapel and then fan out as you go up to the altar and the altar rail area with the theological virtues. So the four cardinal virtues are fortitude, justice, temperance, and prudence or wisdom. And the three theological virtues, you'll remember these from Paul and from that reading that we often hear at weddings, are faith, hope, and charity or love. Fortitude, justice, temperance, prudence, wisdom, faith, hope, charity, love. The virtues. And for us as Episcopalians in the deeper Anglican tradition, our ethics tends to be based, the way that Anglicans have understood ethical living has tended to be based around virtue ethics, which is based on these virtues. And so it is important, if we are longing to understand more about ethical Christian living, and particularly in this season of creation this year, ethical Christian living with regard to the earth and to God's creatures, we need to look again and we need to be in touch with these virtues: fortitude, justice, temperance, prudence, faith, hope, and love. And so over the next few weeks, I'll be talking about that, not only in these videos, but also in my sermons. I hope that it will be rich and it will engender some conversation among us as we think about our commitment to creation care. Blessings, my good and faithful people. I'll see you at 9 a.m. or at 1 p.m. on Sunday.